Hi, welcome to the Red Booth Show. I'm Kimberly. On tonight's episode, I have a writer named Denius Garcia. You may recognize him from the TV show Leverage, and he also has a book out and a short film and a new movie coming out too. So come and join us.
Hardison? Les, I'd actually like to enjoy the rest of my Sunday.
He wants to get back to his online orc battle.
Is that so wrong?
What you doing?
The watermarked files are in the server room. The server room is here. We're taking the vents.
It's too tight and too dusty. Have you ever seen a dust mite? Dermatophagoides farinae, 8 legs, fur, and mandibles. Mandibles, woman. I don't think so. That's why I brought this. Say hello to Marvin, okay? Now this allows me to ping any electronics with an I/O switch and flip its status within a 200-yard radius. On is off, red is green, locked is unlocked.
Unlocked. I get it. But can I change the channel?
Can Marvin change the channel? And can it? I do not know.
I'm going in through the vents. Bet I get there first.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Winter chooses our next date. Ready, set, go.
Wait, I wasn't ready.
Real keys? Seriously?
I win. I want to go bungee jumping.
Already did that.
Not off a hot air balloon.
Seriously need to win one of these bets.
See? Vents are better.
It's not that bad.
You're totally surrounded by like a million of those dust mite things. And you can't even feel them, can you?
No, I can't.
Oh.
All over. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay. It's,
Ow.
wait. Just let me get. Wait. Woman. You okay? Oh, man.
All right, so hey, Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Great, I'm so glad you're on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I love having you on the show because also the aspect of being a writer is something that a lot of people don't know, that part of the business.
Yeah.
But you're the one that's creating the story.
That's very true. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, well, of course the story begins within any film, TV show, it starts with the writer. So you have to have an idea. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of people running around with their heads cut off. So
that's
it's
right.
kind of fun.
And you got to work on a pretty big show, Leverage.
I did, yeah. I got to work on Leverage TNT show for 2 years.
Cool.
It was a blast, heist show. Yeah, a lot of fun. Great actors, great crew, great writing room.
Amazing.
Blast, yeah.
So how does somebody get into TV writing?
Lots of times it's a bit of a fluke. You put in your work. I can't stress enough how important a good story is and good writing is, because when the opportunities present themselves, you have to have the material to, be able to get you into the room. So I actually happened to be a golf instructor at the time for kids.
What? That's totally different.
Very different. But one of the kids I worked with, his father was a TV writer, happened to have created this show, Leverage. And a couple years in, the show had already been a couple years in, they had an opening, and he had read some of my material and said, I really like what you have. Why don't you come in to interview with the other showrunner? And I did, and that's kind of how I got the job. So the interview came about as a fluke, but if it wasn't for the actual written material, I feel being at least adequate, I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity.
Amazing. And so what sort of stuff did you have written? Did you already have some books that you had worked, or was it scripts?
Well, the irony is I had only written films, so I'd only written feature film scripts. I hadn't written TV yet, hadn't written any books, lots of ideas in my head, but it was just scripts, and there was one that I wrote that people said was very similar to Pulp Fiction, Usual Suspects and everything, is a crime kind of story, and that's the one that got me the job, really. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
So how many other writers do you have to work with on the show?
The room that we were in consisted of about 10 writers, which is quite a lot. Usually there's around 6 to 8 or so in a room. And what's fun is just there's a lot of collaboration. You're all pitching ideas at the same time. Someone comes in with a story idea, and the showrunner says, we like that, let's run with it. And then everyone starts pitching ideas. This is what I want to see happen. This would be fun for this character to do, those sort of things. And then you go off and you write an outline, you pitch it out there, But what's great about having so many people is that if you come across a problem, someone else might have the solution. So
It sounds like so much fun, honestly.
it really was. It was a blast. So I would do it again in a heartbeat, without a doubt. So
Very cool.
yeah,
And you have a book that's out.
I do have a book.
Would you like to show it?
Coincidentally, it's right here.
That's right.
It's GENE.SYS, and it's the first of a dystopian trilogy. That's about 12 genetically engineered teens who are created to restart humanity after the apocalypse.
Wow.
So it's yeah, it was a
It's
lot of
science
fun.
fiction,
It's science fiction,
which I love science fiction, by the way.
Yeah, very very science fiction. Takes place about 400 years in the future, so there's a lot that has changed on Earth since then. I tried to kind of create a future history for this book. So in the first chapter, you actually read about what's happened in those few
400
hundred years. Yeah,
Wow.
Ice Age, world wars, famines, all these different things. So
Wow.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have to do a lot of sort of scientific research for parts of this, or just made it up as you went?
It was a little bit of both. I did do some research. One of the things that surprised me in my research, and a lot of it was going through this history lesson that I put in there, future history lesson, was that we are actually in the middle of an ice age. We're not, we're not waiting for another ice age. We're in the middle. We just happen to be in a lull. And
What?
that an ice age can actually happen in as fast as, a couple months. So the freeze can actually happen so quickly that it's a bit scary to actually see that.
No,
and
you're
go,
freaking me
wait a
out right
second.
now,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So very easily by December we could be in another ice age. I mean that's how quickly they can happen. It's rare, and who knows. But yeah, definitely a lot of research. And since there's a lot of science in here, I wanted to have at least some hint of truth with the fiction to go along with it. So I used a lot of geographical research for locations and those sort of
Cool.
things. Yeah, it was fun.
How long did it take you to write the book?
It took me 7 months.
Not bad.
Not at all. No, I was actually very adamant about finishing it by a certain date, and I finished it that day.
Amazing.
So it's kind of those last couple of weeks. It really was just sitting at a cafe with nothing but my laptop and just going crazy on the keyboard. But it was a lot of fun and had a great time writing it. Definitely different than writing for TV. So
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
yeah.
Okay, let's show this to everybody then.
Absolutely.
So this is GENE.SYS.
GENE.SYS, yeah.
GENE.SYS. These are the guys who are genetically modified.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what it's
so
named
it
after.
stands for genetic systems.
Cool.
But it also kind of parallels the book Genesis in the Bible with a lot of the character names and everything. I like kind of drawing in from that. So the main character's name is Adam, but it's Atom. The
Right.
love interest is Eve, but it's Evie, which for me was short for evolution. Is kind of I liked taking the parallels of that. It's set in Egypt amidst the pyramids, and the whole idea is this rebirth of humanity. So it's kind of, if your only options are to let humans fix themselves or to try to hit the reset button, what would you do? And in this book, they decide to hit the reset button.
Interesting. I'm very curious as to what sort of modifications they made to the people.
There's not too much. They're just slightly more enhanced. I didn't want to go to the supernatural. Really, what I wanted
So no,
to
like
do.
fish gills.
No fish gills, nothing like that. But the fastest human alive, Usain Bolt, can I think run something like 24 miles an hour. So in this book, all the genetically modified humans, that's the slowest they can run. So I took kind of the extremes of what us humans can do now and made that the norm for all my characters. So they're a little stronger, they're a little faster, a little smarter, but working together, they're able to kind of withstand everything that's thrown at them.
Oh, very
So,
cool. And also you have a movie that you're working on, right?
I am, yeah. We're in the early stages of pre-production. It's a horror film.
Okay.
And it's a very simple concept. It's two people who are madly in love with each other have made a deal with death to be able to let their love last eternally, and part of the exchange is they have to do his bidding when he asks. So they terrorize these 4 couples on a secluded retreat as part of a game. Ultimately,
like a Couples Island like TV show.
kind of, yeah, almost like a Couples Island. It's more, it's like in the mountains and those sort of things. But yeah, and they chase him down, and really, what sets this apart is actually the style of filmmaking that is going to be done, similar to Blair Witch, similar to Paranormal Activity. It'll be different. I can't really say exactly what just yet, but definitely.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, what is the name of the movie?
This movie's called Witness.
Cool.
And there's kind of a bit of a double entendre, I guess, is the word for that.
He's a writer.
Word,
he says big words.
Yeah. I studied a little bit of French. I know what entendre means. I guess I don't know. But it's I'm very excited to do that. We're hoping to film the latter part of this year, and then go to festivals in the early part and release it next October. So it's a lot of fun, and we're in the middle of the casting process now. So having a good time with it for sure.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye out. And where are they going to be finding updates about the movie?
The best place to find updates about the movie, my book, anything like that, is actually through Twitter.
Okay.
At Denius.
Cool. Yeah, and you have a lot of Twitter followers.
Yeah.
Did you cultivate these all on your own?
Some. One of what I've realized is just interacting with people. You kind of become friends with them, and they invite other people to do that, and that's really where I've been, I guess, pitching my book more. It's a lot of a grassroots kind of movement to do that, so it's fun to have that and to interact with people, I guess, on Twitter, who are fans, from the Philippines or something like that. It's really interesting.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
And where can people find the book?
You can find my book on Amazon. You can also find it on my website, GENE.SYS where there's links to the paperback copy. You can also get a hardcover, a signed hardcover limited edition that I'm selling. And there's also a link where you can check out the first two chapters of the book for free. So if you like those first two chapters, you can go after that there. So
great. And also, this is the first of a trilogy, right?
It's the first of a trilogy, yes. So and it's kind of the pre-dystopian trilogy is the way I've been pitching it, in that these three books lead all the way up to where the dystopian society would be created. So not that it's giving much away, but the first book ends with a nuclear apocalypse. So that's not really a bit of a twist. There's other twists in it, but it ends with that, and then the next two books are the struggles of these characters in how they go about developing this new society.
And are those ones aren't released yet, right?
Not yet, no. Yeah.
When will they be?
Book 2, I'm hoping to release at the end of next year.
Cool.
And then book 3, hopefully the following year. So
you're working on those ones right now.
Working on those. There's some side books as well that go along with this. Eventually, this will probably be about a 7-book series.
Very cool.
Yeah,
wow.
With, extra books on the side, focusing on other characters. So.
Well, Orson would be proud.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. No, definitely.
Very cool. So are you in the Writers Guild, basically, for industry here?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you have tips for people that want to get into writing?
The biggest tip I would say is write. Opportunities will come and go, but unless you actually have the material to present, it's not going to happen for you. So just write. Keep writing. You are a writer. You're not a, networker. You're not this, those sort of things. Those things will come, but you write, and eventually one of the things you write will be what gets noticed. It might not be till the 12th thing you write, but that's what's going to start getting noticed. That's what's going to start doing those sort of things. So that's probably the biggest advice I would give.
That's good advice. I love it. How did you first start, writing? Did you start writing in school, or?
I think I've always been a writer. Yeah, I definitely wrote when I was a young kid. Through middle school, high school, and college, I wrote a lot of poetry. There's actually a poetry book that I wrote that's on Amazon as well.
Oh, great. What's it called?
That one's called, Moments of Clarity and Insanity.
Cool.
And it's all the poetry that I wrote from middle school through college. So a lot of it deals with kind of heartache and crushes, but there's also things that deal with suicide it goes a lot deeper, and some that are just ridiculous. I wrote a poem about the Jolly Green Giant. So there's some really weird things in there, but yeah, that's up there. And then when I moved out here, I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor, but fell in love with writing a few years after that and realized that I wanted to be the storyteller. So went through there, published a children's book as well, a holiday children's book called
nice.
Santa's Plight.
Santa's Plight.
And that's also on Amazon. So, and yeah, just kind of have been writing ever since. Really, I can't go a day without putting pen to the paper. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably had aspirations to write when they were younger. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people will write stories when they're kids, and then for some reason they start believing that they can, or something like that.
sure.
So the fact that you just continued and did it is great.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably the biggest thing I try to encourage people to do is follow their dreams. Regardless of what a person believes, you only have one opportunity to live this life. So live it the way you want to live it. And if being a writer, being an actor, being an acrobat, it doesn't really matter. Whatever it is you want to do it.
I love that
So,
message.
yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so you also have a short film that you did. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
2 years ago, I did a short film called In Sickness and in Health, and it dealt with marriage equality. It was kind of right before everything started going. Some of the states were doing that, and it was actually to honor a few of my uncles who had passed away who were gay, and decided to do that. And part of what was an interesting thing about it is I funded it all through Kickstarter.
Wow.
So going after people to try to get money and doing that, it was trying to get $25,000 is not easy when you're asking friends and family. So so that was a lot of fun, but a lot of it was because I wanted to get a really good cast involved.
That's right. Didn't you have, let's see, you had Debbie Moore's daughter.
Yeah, I had Rumor Willis.
Yeah, Rumor Willis,
I had
that's right.
Rumor Willis. I had Jason Blair and John Rubenstein, Mamie Kennedy, Gerald Downey, all people who you would recognize on TV or films. Went after them for that, and it was interesting because at one point I was actually going after like Neil Patrick Harris and Matthew Bomber and those sort of things, and was talking to their agents. They were all interested in doing it, but scheduling didn't work out, and in the end I decided to go with the actors I got, and I couldn't be happier with the performances they gave. And yeah, it's just it was a blast having them on set. I actually directed that film,
Amazing.
so it was kind of it was a new venue for me to try.
That's kind of cool though, because you can actually create on screen what you're imagining from the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found myself using a lot of, I guess, what I've learned as a writer into the directing, just creating more of a visual storyline as opposed to a written one. And it was nervous because I wasn't directing my friends in a, kind of a small little, thing with my iPhone. It was, people pros, who I was paying a good amount of money to do. And, it was fun, but in the end, I'm happy. It went to a bunch of festivals, and
Nice.
it's on Amazon,
Cool.
so people can download it.
What is the name of it?
In Sickness and in Health.
In Sickness and in Health.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys definitely go check it out on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of stuff on Amazon, I guess.
That's true.
Books, movies. You can find my Leverage episode on Amazon, and a bunch of things like that.
You were on Leverage for 2 years, right?
Mhm.
So you've worked on a ton of their episodes.
Yes, I'm credited for one.
Oh.
And
How does
just-
that? What? 2 years?
Well, because what happens is, like I said, there was 10 writers in our room, and there's a hierarchy in a sense within the room, and every room is different. But each season we had about 13 to 15 episodes, and most of the senior writers take about 2 or 3 of those episodes. And then as you kind of go down the totem pole to staff writers and such, you get 1 episode. But we're still involved in the thought process, in the creating process of talking
every
to
episode.
of every episode. I could watch any episode and say that's something I helped with, or that's an idea that I gave. But as far as credit and writing it, there was just one that I was credited on because it's one that I wrote entirely myself. So
Wow.
it's an interesting process and a fun environment to work in. You're surrounded by other creative people.
That's got to be great.
Yeah, definitely. We're all neurotic, but it's still fun. So
That's so cool.
yeah, it's definitely fun.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So we'll have people go check out your short film,
Yeah, and check out the
In
short
Sickness
film.
and in Health,
In Sickness and in Health on
and then
Amazon.
stay tuned for your new movie.
Yes, that might not be out till next year, but
Right.
I've been doing vlog updates via Periscope and on Twitter, and they'll be up on YouTube at Doggone Productions, that channel. So you can get an in-depth look at filmmaking, the behind the scenes,
scenes.
even before we've secured money and all that. It's just kind of, I give updates about once or twice a week on that. So
Nice.
if people are interested in what, filmmaking is about, or how to go about certain things, like that's a good place to check out, subscribe,
Cool.
all those things. Yeah.
Great. And do you want to tell us a bit about the sort of story behind the short film as well?
Yeah, the short film itself came about. So I had 3 uncles who passed away from AIDS, and 2 of them were gay, and one of the things that I wanted to do was honor their life. So the film itself is about a couple, one of them who is dying of AIDS. They go to the family to tell the family that that's happening. The father blows up, blames the partner. This is your fault, you're the one who did this to my son, those sort of things, even though he's not. And then as it progresses, the partner goes out and talks to the father, tries to calm him down and says, listen, your son's going to need you here. I can't, I want to be there for him 100% of the time. He's going to need family, but also in order for me to be able to provide, care for him and do all those things, we need to be married, and I want your blessing. So he asks for the father's blessing, and the father does eventually give it to him. So
Wow.
it's a lot in a short film, and it's 12 minutes long. But,
And this was before the whole recent,
yeah, it was right.
legalization
it was before,
of gay marriage.
Yeah, it was before that. I think at the time there was only about 14 states who had legalized it.
Amazing.
So it's great to see the process and to see, I hope that my film reached one person and it had them change their mind. I mean, that to me would make the film a success. It doesn't matter about the festivals or anything like that. If someone saw the film and it changed their mind, then it was a success.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
Anything that helps to contribute to people treating each other fairly and equally
Exactly.
is a good thing to do. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
No, it's very true. And I try to do that a lot with everything that I write. I try to at least put some sort of moral or, I guess lesson in there that maybe someone can take away and can live their lives in a slightly, I guess, more optimistic, more inclusive, sort of way. So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's why you have so many Twitter followers. So cool.
But, yeah.
All right, so why don't you tell everybody about this clip from your short film?
Okay, so in this clip, the father and the partner are out on the front porch, and the partner is coming out to the father to talk to him about how he's going to need to be there for his son, but also to ask for his permission, for his blessing, to ask his son's hand in marriage. So it's quite a dramatic scene, all in one take too. So,
Wow.
yeah. So
Amazing.
the actors had to be
Totally on it, yeah.
totally on it. Had to really deliver the emotions.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's go check it out, guys. Here it is.
Listen. I'm sorry about what I said.
You didn't mean it.
No, I didn't. You sick?
No.
Good. Then why are you still with him?
We've been together for 5 years. He is my soulmate. I would never leave him. Would you leave your wife?
It's different.
How?
It's a different kind of love.
Do you love your children?
Of course.
And do you love one more than the other? And is that love for them different than for your wife? See, love isn't defined by the people involved. It's defined by the emotions and connection shared between those people. Love is love.
You're a good man, Evan.
He's gonna need you though.
He'll want you there too.
Wow, that's very intense.
It was. It was actually the last scene we filmed, too. And what was amazing is that we only did 2 takes because the actors were just so good and so, I guess, present in that moment that, it really came out. And I remember, some of the crew actually, wiping tears away because they just delivered it so powerfully. So it was good, and I remember having just a big smile on my face because I was like, yes,
So perfect.
yeah, it's like they nailed it. So it was good. It was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, it's been a blast.
It's been great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the writer Denius Garcia on
The Red Booth.